kind of student are you?
I'm doing a double major in mathematics, and there's a combined major between computer science and biology.
Whoa, nothing too challenging.
So fun. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a fun time.
Yeah, I'm sure. I went back
Um,
to school later in life at age 50, and I realized my math has a wall. My math ability has a wall, and
mhm.
I just hit the same wall the second time around. There was just like no getting above it.
uh, Sometimes I feel like I'm hitting that wall right now. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
it can be pretty rough sometimes.
it's a rough wall.
Mm.
I did second year calculus, and then that was it. I was out. I
Mhm.
was like, all right, I need to move on to something else.
Mm. I got you.
Yeah, I ended up doing econ for undergrad.
Oh, nice.
That was
Yeah.
more manageable.
Taken a couple of econ classes. It seems pretty interesting as well. It seems much more like, um, I guess there's much more like interpretation than like physics, but it uses a lot of similar math, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's all about uh, evaluating different choices, and then I mean, economics is all about microeconomics, is all about optimization, which shows up in every field, right? Yeah. Cool. Well, I don't know how much you know. I'll get started because I don't know how many people are going to join today. We've had a couple of these sessions already. I think this is week 5, so a lot of people have already got the update. But I don't, how much do you know about our competition so far?
Not an incredible amount. We've been working on it for a bit, and I have like a team, but I just
Oh,
heard
great.
about it through a friend. So I mean,
Okay.
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So just to give you the background, Academia Sinica is Taiwan's like national research institute. It's like the National Academy of Science in the States. It has a research mission to help, just advance general science and knowledge, but also to tackle Taiwan's priorities. And this one is specifically focused on energy. So 3 years ago, Academia Sinica put together a white paper recommending we target specific breakthrough energy technologies that are like above and beyond wind and solar and hydro, like the traditional easy ones. And so for the past few years, our researchers have been working on developing these technologies, which are I'll show on screen what they are. And do you have our competition website? I'll just
Right.
put
Yeah,
it.
I do. Yeah.
Okay, good. Um, so these are the top priorities technologies, and for 2 or 3 years we've been developing them, and the teams are doing well in terms of like fleshing out the science and figuring out like how to make this real. And the next step is how to bring it to market, and that's where like all of our people are like very good scientists, um, but they're not business people, and that's where Stanford comes in, right? Stanford has a great background in taking technology to market, so we're looking to students to help us figure out how to get these technologies out of the lab environment and into the marketplace. um, so these technologies 疫情你可以 mute 一下吗？你可以 mute 一下。哦，他走了，不用走，只要 mute. So these technologies are, let me just go through them quickly. 谢谢，怡静. Methane pyrolysis, the idea is to replace natural gas with hydrogen by stripping out the carbon content. So we have been researching reactors that will break natural gas, which is CH4, into H2 plus solid carbon. The carbon actually drops out as a black powder, And there's two angles of this to this. One is, helping develop the reactors that will, split apart the natural gas and then burn it for electricity, right? There's two different kinds of reactors. There's the pyrolysis reactor, and then there's the generator, electric generator. The whole other side of this technology is what to do with the mountains of solid carbon that we will get. And this is actually a valuable product. So there's companies in the States already that are doing this specifically to make the carbon. And it's used for, in the States, it's being used for tires, but it has other uses. Like it could be used in construction, roadways. And so a key part of this idea is if we can market the carbon, it will reduce the overall cost of using this technology. And then while this isn't a pure net zero, like carbon-free technology, it would reduce our carbon intensity from importing natural gas dramatically. So this is a top priority. That's why it's at the top of the list. And Eric, if you have any questions as we go, feel free to jump in.
Right. So our team was looking at these technologies before, and the ones we were most interested in were the pyrolysis, the geothermal, and the perovskite.
Okay.
What we were a little bit unsure about was kind of what I guess the nature of the competition was for, right? Because we really like the technology and like the business idea of pyrolysis, right? But it doesn't necessarily, we didn't necessarily think it'd be as great in Taiwan as it is in the US, because Taiwan doesn't have like the same level of like natural gas imports as like, I guess the US does, even like from like a ratio perspective of like how much energy they use, I believe.
Well, actually, I mean, Taiwan just went off nuclear, and it's all its other options for fossil fuels are bad, right? It's like oil or coal. And so natural gas is going to expand. It's actually, I don't have the exact number, but it is a huge percentage of Taiwan's energy mix. So I wouldn't, I mean, this is a top priority for our team, and I wouldn't necessarily deselect it because you think there might be limited impact. I think this is actually expected to be like one of the foundational energy technology. Yeah.
Wait,
especially okay, go ahead.
So we were wondering like kind of the time frame and the kind of what kind of business model we should be looking at. Should it be like, oh, we should be looking to deploy and scale like right now, in which case maybe kind of solar is probably the best? Or is it more like, say, in the next 10 years, what we think will be the best for Taiwan, the best for business, and like the most scalable?
Yeah, it's the next 10 years. So all of these technologies are hard to do by intent. Like we're swinging for the fence on all of these. That's the nature of the program. This is not meant to be like, hey, how do we get some more solar going? I mean, this is meant to be like, throw everything we have at these super hard technologies, get them to work, and somehow get them to market. So it's more like we need a conceptual business framework for how to take this live. So this isn't like, hey, just deploy. We still need to figure out how to bridge the gap from the lab to the market. So I would give yourself a 10-year framework is fine.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
And there will be a lot of institutional support behind this. So the government will be backstopping the initial investments at the valley of death to take it out of the lab and into the market. So, don't assume like you have to hit the ground running like, like a typical Silicon Valley startup. So yeah, methane pyrolysis, there's an angle around the two types of reactors, the pyrolysis reactor and the hydrogen reactor. Right now we're aiming to burn a blend of natural gas and hydrogen and then increase the hydrogen over time until we have a pure hydrogen burning turbine. And then there's the carbon black angle. And the carbon black angle is probably the most easily commercializable at a smaller scale. Like building giant reactors is like, that's a huge lift financially. But if you can find a market use for carbon black and take that to market, that we call that valorization. You'll be helping to valorize that. Otherwise, it's just a byproduct. And again, that improves the overall economics of the technology. Cool. So let me know if you want to talk more about methane pyrolysis.
Wait, yeah, that seems the most interesting to me. It seems like a pretty awesome technology, and it seems also very well aligned with the business side.
Okay, great. There's a company in the States that's doing this today called Monolith. So you can check out what they're doing. They're basically, they're operating out of Nebraska. And they're basically creating carbon black for EV tires. So they've already come up with a commercial business model. And they're just scaling up. They are not building bigger and bigger reactors. They have a modular approach, and they're just like expanding by adding more and more of their plasma torch reactors. There's about 16 different kinds of ways to break down methane using pyrolysis, and that's another angle that we're researching, right? Like, what's the best fit? A lot of the consideration around what kind of reactor you go with will influence how the carbon comes out. So depending on what your business model is, you might be aiming for a different type of carbon molecular structure, and then that will go into your product. And there's other uses like carbon fiber or graphite can be used in like electronics. So you guys initially you could do a scan of like what are the 10 different ways you could use carbon black, and then zero in on one as like maybe the one you think is like maybe the best value add for a place like Taiwan.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
All
And
right.
do you happen to know like how pure the carbon that comes out of the pyrolysis is? Is it like very pure? Or is it like contaminated with some, I don't know, I've seen some hydrogens?
My understanding is that the challenge is less the purity and more just the actual molecular structure. So that if it comes out in like rough jumble of carbon atoms, it's hard to use. You need it to come out in carbon nanotubes or sheets or graphene or graphite. It's more like that. But I'm not actually an expert on this topic. There's some folks at Stanford who actually are like the global experts on it. So it may require a bit of background research on your team's part to just get up to speed on the mechanics of how methane pyrolysis works.
That makes sense. And who is that? What was the lab at Stanford that you were talking about? Do you know what they're called?
There's a couple guys in the Precourt Energy Center who are sort of our partners on energy. One guy's name is Adam Boyce. He just published a paper in Nature in December. I'll put his name in the chat. And I'll put the paper in the chat too.
Oh, thank you.
Let me get the other guys' names. Actually, the head of your sustainability school, the Dean Arun Majumdar, he's also has some experience in this area. So you can just look for papers by these guys. And you might be able to meet up with them as well.
Right, exactly.
If they're free. But they're in the loop on what we're trying to do already.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to, there's a guy named Mateo. I'm just trying to get the spelling for his last name.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was sort of a niche technology, but is very relevant to Taiwan, because the challenge in Taiwan is that we don't have a lot of open space to use solar and wind.
Mm-hmm.
And we import a huge amount of natural gas. So if we can decrease the carbon intensity, that would help a lot. I'm going to find that Nature paper for you.
Thank you. Awesome.
And actually, this was a joint paper with Cambridge. They had a good infographic about it. I'm going to pull that up as well. One thing you have to learn in this project is how to spell pyrolysis. It's not a word that comes up every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me share this other screen. I'm going to put it in the chat, but also share this other screen, which has a good visual. Yeah, so this Cambridge article, let me zoom in on it a bit more. I mean, this is just one specific type of output, which is carbon nanotubes, which maybe has a different usefulness than like, this is maybe looking at structural capabilities, because carbon nanotubes are now becoming potentially a replacement for steel and aluminum and copper in terms of like tensile strength. So this is like a different use case than like using it for tires or roadways. But the graphic I like because it gives you sort of like an overall landscape of like how methane pyrolysis fits into like an energy ecosystem.
This is nice. Thank you.
Sure. Oh, hey, welcome, Alex. Alex, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in as well. We're just spitballing today.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So Eric, that's probably about as much as I can muster around methane pyrolysis. But those are some good resources for you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Maybe what I can do is just go over the mechanics of the business competition over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, let me do that. All right, let me go to the timeline. So we're at week 5. We're about 2 weeks out exactly from the deadline to submit. And the idea is just submit a 10-page pitch deck that it'd be like an initial, pitch deck you might use with first-round investors or a government incubator. More conceptual. We're not looking for elegant financial engineering. We're looking for like a conceptual model for how to take the tech to market. So you guys have 2 weeks to pull this together. We also are looking for like a quick pitch video from your team. It could be just one person, it could be the whole team, but just 3 to 5 minutes, just introducing your team and your idea. And these will just be uploaded to our site. And then we have Chinese New Year. So actually, we have Chinese New Year starting in a week. So we will have one more office hour call like this next week. So on February 12th, and then Taiwan goes into Chinese New Year. So it's going to get a bit quiet. Although I'll be online as I'm basically just a resource for all you guys. I'll be online the whole time if you guys have questions. And then you guys submit. We'll pick the first round of 6 winners. The top 6 will all get some financial reward. It's basically kind of beer money. The first team will get 10K, second team 5K, third team 3K, and then 1K each for the 4th through 6th. That's basically to thank people for putting in the effort behind all of this, thinking. And then the top 3 teams will travel to Taiwan for a week. So flying out March 21st around midnight, just after finals. So that Friday night at midnight, and then spend a week with us. We are going to have people visit all of our technologies. So whichever technology you're interested in, we're going to take the top 3 teams to Tainan, see solar and wind farm, see our marine turbines development, see our methane pyrolysis reactors, look at our geothermal drill sites, look at like seaweed farming. So that week is meant to be like a up close and personal intro to all of our tech research, and up and down Taiwan. Like we'll take the high-speed rail, which is super cool. And then we also have like a day and a half of courses taught by experts in commercializing technology in Taiwan. So these are either government or private sector investors and program managers who will basically talk through the realities of like how do technologies come to market in Taiwan. And the idea isn't like, just to give you guys some background, the idea is like we actually want to take your ideas and run with them. So like there's a section on our website called follow-up. So for the top ideas, our hope is that we would actually work with you guys to take them to market. So after the Taiwan trip, we would actually keep going and hopefully, look at starting startups and organize funding to take the ideas to market. So we have like a day and a half of those types of courses lined up with some great experts. And let's see what else. The top project won't be announced until we're in Taiwan. Basically, the idea is that you guys will spend about 5 days updating your thinking and then do a final presentation to our president, the president of Academia Sinica, who's is a former department chair from UCLA in all sorts of difficult energy science. So he's going to help evaluate, and then we will pick the top 1, 2, and 3 teams. But basically, everybody's a winner. And we will also hit like night markets and get to see like a lot of Taiwan culture, which is a lot of fun too. Let's see what else. So in our website, we have some details on like what we're looking for in the business plan. We're not being too specific because we don't need people to be that specific. Again, we're looking for a conceptual bridge from the lab to the marketplace, as opposed to like super detailed financial models. I'm just going to check my line and make sure I'm not missing out any messages here. We're doing good. The other thing I'll mention is that we have more and more resources available to the team. We're continually updating our website. So all of the previous chats that we had are online. Our president, Liao, his speech at Stanford last October 27th, he was there and he introduced this energy development program. So that's very good background. And then this here is the white paper that was created in 2023. And this has a lot of detailed background on like the various types of and market sizing for like the various types of technology, like why we came up with these technologies. And also I'll recommend this one, week 2's video. My colleague Sherry will did a deep dive on the technologies as well. So there's more info there on all the technologies. If you need more background on like what are we actually talking about with these technologies. So, and then of course my contact info is at the bottom of every page on our website. So if you guys have questions over the next couple of weeks, just ping me by email or on LinkedIn. I'm basically online every day. So happy to serve as a resource for you guys as you flesh out your plans.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions, guys?
I think that's all for me for now.
All right.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Thank you, Eric.
Bye.
Good luck. Alex, anything from your side?
No, everything is good.
All right. You're always welcome to ping me anytime if you have questions in the next 2 weeks.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Alex. Have a great day.
You too. Have a great day.
All right. All right. We're going to end here, guys. I think we don't have anybody else. I'm just going to make sure we don't have anybody else, but I think we're good. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.